Welcome to What Really Matters podcast, Everyday Spirituality with Karen Wyatt. Thanks so much for joining me here again today for another episode. I really appreciate that you keep showing up and joining me here for some of these thoughts that I have to share with you. And oftentimes I see things or read things online that inspire me, and that ends up being something that I talk about here on the podcast. Sometimes it's also a conversation I have with my 3-year-old granddaughter that inspires me. So you never know what I'll come up with for each one of these episodes. But today I'll start first with a quote from Father Richard Rohr that I read that really touched me, that says, "All we have to do is walk outside and gaze at one leaf long and lovingly until we really know that this leaf is a participation in the eternal being of God." And I like the simplicity of this quote and the idea that we don't have to visit temples or synagogues or cathedrals. We don't have to accomplish anything grand or great in life in order to feel like we're coming into connection with the divine. We can experience that simply by just gazing at a single leaf. And the more we allow ourselves to connect with just that one minute piece of nature, of the natural world, the more the divisions that we believe are there between us and the leaf start to fall away. It all dissolves and disappears. And those are the artificial divisions, the illusions of separateness that we create around us. It all falls away. The more we can gaze with love at anything that's in the universe, we begin to recognize how all of it is interconnected. And so that's something that I've been thinking about lately. And then this was followed up by a post about Thich Nhat Hanh's 4 Elements of True Love. And I thought this would be a good thing to talk about a little bit more. When we gaze at the leaf, we are entering in a sense, an exchange of love with the leaf as we see the value of the leaf and the participation of the leaf in everything, all of creation, all of the divine. And so these 4 elements break down that aspect of true love to help us understand the different components. And this is according to Thich Nhat Hahn, but I think it's really valuable to look at each of these. So the first element of true love described by Thich Nhat Hahn, and so this is a Buddhist perspective, is called Maitri, spelled Maitri. And it also means loving kindness. And I've seen metta, Metta, as another word for this element of true love. So loving kindness says, "May you be truly well." And it means not just, "I hope you're happy," but it means I am willing to engage with you in a way that will increase your happiness. Like my presence here and my love for you means I am motivated to want to increase your happiness or your well-being. And so it's as if I send out to you, I radiate out to you my desire for you to have well-being. And so it addresses our capacity to actually help someone else do better than they're doing right now. And it means that we actually have to understand what makes someone else feel better or feel well. And that takes a deep understanding of another person, because when we only look at that person through our own eyes and our own lens, we may imagine that they need the same things that we need. So we may be projecting onto them our sense of what would make me feel good right now. I will do that for you. But Maitri, loving kindness, means that we actually set aside our own thoughts and our own conclusions about what might make someone happy, what might make us happy, and deeply listen and deeply feel into what another person may need. And in some ways, we might not even be able to explicitly say what it is that person needs, but we are sending out loving vibrations, a loving frequency and energy that we allow to go wherever it is needed for that person, if that makes any sense to you. And so what this might look like, say in hospice, it might mean that we are sitting at the bedside of someone and simply listening rather than trying to tell the person something. So rather than trying to give them advice or even trying to express what our love and our concern looks like, we simply listen and we hold space. And we actually, as Richard Rohr described, we are gazing at them with love and allowing them to just be who they are, and allowing our love to radiate out to them in a way that will be of benefit to them without us actually knowing what the right answers are, knowing exactly what to do or how to help. And so it might mean that we sit with a person. As I said, we hold space, we listen, but we also sense with all of our being when something is needed, and we may get an intuitive hit or an inspiration, touch their hand, look into their eyes, or say this. And that comes from a deeper place within us than just our minds thinking about what another person needs. So the idea is that we show up with a desire to be of benefit to the other person, but without trying to fix the other person. So it takes us out of the space of really judging that person or trying to assess what are they missing that they need, and can I fill that gap? We lay all that aside, and it's simply being fully present in the moment. And if we want to think about anything or have any intention, it may be, how do we ensure that that person feels safe and feels seen in the moment by our presence? So that removes us from the position of judging, evaluating, measuring, trying to decide what the other person might need. And again, we step outside of our own anxiety, our own worry, our own concern, and our own thoughts of what I think the other person might need. And here I wanted to share with you the loving kindness blessing, which I've shared before because it is a version of a Buddhist blessing that I learned a long time ago that has been really valuable to me. And so I'll say it in two different ways. So the first way of saying it is to actually speak it for myself, and I use it as a way to help myself get into the right energy, the right vibrational field, the right way of thinking before I interact with someone else. So I'll tell you the components of the loving kindness blessing that I know. It begins, may I be at peace. And to me, this means, may I have calm energy. May I not have worries and fears rising up within me as I'm holding space right now. The second is, may my heart remain open. And this, again, I see as not having judgment, being open to whatever I witness or observe in the other person, and not sending out any of my own thoughts or my own worries or concerns to that person, but simply being a witness with an open heart that can receive whatever enters into the space. The next line of the blessing is, may I realize the beauty of my own true nature. And I really love this one. I think to me it means, may I operate from my highest self, which is my own true nature, and may I simply allow the light of my own true nature to shine forth, the beauty. May I allow it to be real in the world, and allow it to emanate from me so that it is visible and present for other people. The next line is, may I be healed. And for me, this line means, may I not be carrying any wounds that become obstacles to me being my higher self. May I have the capacity to soothe those wounds and to also take away their charge, to take away their power so that they don't control my actions or my behavior or my words. And then the final line is, may I be a source of healing for this world. And so the idea of Maitri, I think, is this final line. We want to be a source of healing. We want to emanate such beautiful love that other people feel healed to be in the presence of it. But we cannot do that unless we do the rest of the blessing: be at peace, have an open heart, realize the beauty of our own true nature, and be healed within ourselves. That is how we get ourselves to the place where we can be a source of healing for others. So that is the loving kindness blessing when we say it for ourselves. But we can also turn it around once we get ourselves into this, I think, this higher consciousness perspective. We can turn this blessing around and utilize it on behalf of other people. So when I do that, I envision or imagine the other person, or if I'm sitting in the room with them, I look at them, I hold them in my heart. And so you can say, may you be at peace. May your heart be open. May you realize the beauty of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for this world. I love this reciprocal blessing of saying it for myself, saying it for the other person. And the idea of wishing for the other person that they be a source of healing. This is what happens when we gaze at the leaf long enough to recognize that we're connected to the leaf and part of God. When we are able to offer this loving kindness aspect of true love to another being, it's the same. We are gazing at them with love until they feel the connection to the divine along with us. Together, we recognize our interconnectedness within everything, to one another and to everything in all of creation. So that is the loving kindness blessing and the loving kindness aspect, the element of true love as spoken by Thich Nhat Hahn. And the second element of true love is karuna, is the name of it, which means compassion. And I think we've talked before that compassion is different from empathy or sympathy. Sympathy meaning I feel sorry for you. Empathy meaning I understand that you feel sorry. I understand your pain. Compassion being I suffer with you. And another way of interpreting that is to say, your pain is not separate from mine. We suffer together because that's part of the human condition and that's part of what we are here for. And so it means that we are willing to allow another person's suffering to touch us and to view it with tenderness and to sit in the face of that suffering, to not try to explain it away or overanalyze it or fix it or make it better. But we are willing to be touched by the suffering and to simply share in it, to share our humanity, and to say to that person, I am here with you in the midst of this suffering. I am not here trying to banish your suffering. I am sitting in the middle of it with you, because that is the very best way we can support another person who is suffering, is our own openness to be right in the middle of it and be present for it. And so it means not sympathy. We aren't pitying the other person. We are not trying to rescue the other person. We're not we're not taking on their suffering, but we are sitting with them and being present with them in the midst of their suffering, and understanding that their suffering is part of the total suffering of all of humanity. And so we allow that person to cry. We allow them to be silent. We allow them to say what they need to say. We allow them to be angry and upset and complain, and we're able to sit and be present with them and follow this journey along with them. And we are not rushing to explain it or fix it or necessarily make it better, though of course when we have the means to help, we do that. We offer whatever means we have if it could lessen the intensity of the suffering. But I'm talking more about, not about what we can physically do for the suffering, but our presence, our emotional and spiritual presence with another person. So we allow our hearts to open to their suffering and to be resilient and strong enough that we can sit with it and we can share the load with them. Again, knowing that we cannot fix it ourselves. We can't control it and we can't fix it. So that is karuna, compassion, the second element of true love. And the third element is mudita, which means joy. And this is described as your joy is my joy. And I like this one. It is the ability to genuinely rejoice in another person's happiness. And, I honestly think this is a missing quality in our society sometimes, because I witness a lot of jealousy and envy and a lot of people experiencing schadenfreude, which means you actually celebrate when another person suffers or when another person fails at something, celebrate their pain in a way and get a secret feeling of superiority when someone else has difficulty. I see that quality much more often in our society than this idea of mudita, of joy, of experiencing joy when another person has joy. It seems to me sometimes that we view joy as if it is of limited quantity. There's a pie, and we need to grab and hoard the joy we can get for ourselves, and we resent it when other people seem to get more than their share of joy. And not so much that we seek to take their joy away, except honestly, if you go on social media, you'll see that all the time. You'll see someone makes a post about something lovely that they're doing, some work they're doing to serve others, or something that they received, some goodness, something beautiful in their lives that has happened. Always there will be people who make hateful comments about that. And these are the joy stealers in a way, who want to take away another person's joy because for some reason they feel they're not getting their fair share and they want to hoard it, and they resent it that other people have joy and have beauty in their lives. So mudita, which may be in scarce supply here in our society in these days, your joy is my joy. Rejoicing in someone else's happiness. And it means that we don't make comparisons with them. We don't say, oh, well, you had that happy thing happen, but why haven't I? Why haven't I had more happiness? And we also don't look at life through a lens of scarcity. And again, that would be the looking at life as a limited, or joy as a limited quantity. That's the scarcity view. There's not enough to go around, so I have to get everything I possibly can. And so it means that we look for small moments of joy, of light, of beauty, and we celebrate them and we cherish them, and we actually end up amplifying the joy when we can focus on the small, ordinary moments of life. And that goes back again to gazing at the leaf with love. And that is how we make everything around us sacred, and we bring joy into every moment when we can be fully present for the slightest, most ordinary things, even in the midst of suffering, even in the midst of pain, when we are being present with another person. And I think it can be really helpful to hold ourselves to account here. How do we handle it when another person has joy or success or something good happen for them? Are we secretly threatened? Do we secretly feel jealousy and make comparisons and feel somehow victimized that we've lost out or we're not getting our share? And are we able to share and enjoy another person's joy when we learn about it? And that takes a lot of spiritual maturity. And again, I'll say it again, I think we're lacking this largely in our society right now, at least from the number of hateful people I see out there who are unable to feel good and feel positive about someone else's success. So that is mudita, joy, the third element of true love. And then the fourth element is called upeksha, which means equanimity or freedom. And this is love that doesn't cling. And so the meaning of this is a love that is so vast that it does not try to control or try to cling to the object of love. It doesn't try to hold on to it. It's able to surrender and to allow the object of love to have its freedom. So this truly means that we allow other people to have their own paths. We allow them to follow their own course, whether we agree with it or not, whether we like it or not, but we trust that love is large and love is vast and grand. And we trust that other people can be who they are and be their true and highest selves and follow their own path, even if it means they move away from us rather than toward us. It means that we love other people without wanting them to become our project that we try to fix or control or improve. And it is when we loosen our grip and set our beloved ones free that we actually attain this higher true love, where love is shared between one another without expectations, without grasping or clinging, and without demanding love in return, but giving love and allowing freedom and not remaining attached. So that is the fourth element of true love, and I'll review them once again. First of all, my tree, loving kindness, desiring for another to be well, and setting our intention and our love towards supporting the well-being of others without trying to fix them. At the same time, as we wish them well-being, we recognize we can't determine what well-being means for another person. And the second element is karuna, compassion, meaning your pain is not separate from mine, but I'm able to sit with you in your pain and help you hold it and carry it again without fixing it or trying to take it away. And the third is mudita, joy. Your joy is my joy, being able to celebrate freely and openly the happiness, the love, the joy, the success that another person experiences, and also being able to find joy in the smallest, most ordinary aspects of life. Then the fourth, upeksha, equanimity and freedom, being able to experience love for another without clinging, love that actually sets another person free, that could actually say, if you need to go, you can go. I set you free, and my love will not be altered when you follow your path, your highest good, becoming your greatest self. And I wanted to mention just one more thing. And I write about this in the Journey from Ego to Soul, about the fact that the ego can disguise itself as anything, including love, including true love, and how the ego might show up in each one of these four elements. The first, my tree, the ego may show up as people-pleasing or trying to fix without looking like it's trying to fix things. There could be secret ego hidden behind someone's actions that appear as if they're simply loving and caring about another person, but underneath there's this energy of wanting to control or fix the situation. The second, karuna, compassion, the ego can enter in with a type of savior complex, a secret belief that I'm the one who is going to save the day and can fix everything. The third, mudita, or joy, the ego can use joy to spiritually bypass suffering, and fixating on joy as a way of ignoring and repressing and hiding the suffering that's present. So it's important to remember that when you are sitting with someone else who's suffering, and when you're experiencing joy, to make sure that it's not a way of ignoring the suffering, that the suffering is being held at the same time. And then finally, upeksha, the equanimity, freedom element. Remember that the hidden spiritual ego can actually be appearing to be not attaching to things, but to actually be avoiding things, and appearing to be non-attachment, but actually simply be bypassing and avoiding what is there to be dealt with. And so in that case, the hidden ego in a way is dissociated from the current situation, whereas the healthy ego engaged in true love is fully present and fully involved in experiencing the situation, including the suffering that's present. So I thought that was really interesting to go through these four elements of true love. I'm going to say the loving kindness blessing for you as we close. Again, it's something that I learned and I say all the time, and it's a powerful little blessing for me that makes a big difference in my life. So I hope you'll learn it for yourself too. May you be at peace. May your heart remain open. May you realize the beauty of your own true nature. May you be healed. May you be a source of healing for this world. And that's our closing for today. And so I'll say goodbye until next time.